It's time to dial up the Shouty Shows, though.
I've thought about it very deeply.
I liked how he started it with, I've thought about this long and hard.
I trust the backup quarterback more than I do Dak.
This is why Skip Bayless is the master of the Shouty Show segments.
I can't do it anymore. It is year 6.
It's just a never-ending arms race of idiocy between loud, obnoxious people. We are the antidote to that.
All right, it's Shouty Show time. I love it. I still love that intro. A little throwback to everything we've done. Let's start with a statement. Oh, this will be good. A statement on the Chiefs dynasty.
Wonder what it'll be.
Dynasty days of Kansas City, they're over. They can be good this year. Maybe have some very good Sundays. But I watched that game last night between the Eagles and the Chiefs. The 12 best players, 9 are probably Eagles. I mean, Patrick Mahomes and a good defense can win you some games. But I feel like Patrick Mahomes to the Chiefs offense is like the Apple store at the local mall. It's the only thing keeping the lights on. 3 straight games, Patrick Mahomes has led them in rushing. I mean, the good news for the Chiefs, the New York Giants are next. Worthy should be coming back, but this was predictable regression.
Predictable regression.
Predictable regression. Hey, as a connoisseur of metaphors,
Okay.
The Apple store at the mall, keeping the lights on. That's Mahomes. That's your thoughts.
As a metaphor, it's okay. I don't agree with it, but it works. It's not bad. I do think. I mean, look.
I have thoughts.
Yeah. Number one, this was the most predictable Monday morning take that was out there, to the point that we did predict it. I mean, we said it on the show. This is what Monday was going to be for all the Shouty shows. The Chiefs dynasty is dead. It's all done. It's over. I mean, he said it himself. They're getting Xavier Worthy back. They're getting Rashee Rice back. Those are their 2 top receivers are missing currently. So, of course, this doesn't look particularly good right now. Also, in 2 of those 3 games he's talking about, one of them was in the Super Bowl, and the another one was against the team from the Super Bowl. It was a Super Bowl rematch. So 2 of the 3 games he's talking about are against literally the best team in the NFL. Of course this doesn't look great right now. The other one, by the way, is against another team that looks dominant. So I think it's time to breathe a little bit. Right now, Kansas City doesn't look particularly good. As he said, the New York Giants are up next. If it looks exactly the same against the Giants and they lose that game by 1 score, now we can have a conversation.
Yeah,
up until that point, let's go easy.
If they fall to 0-3, I mean, first off, what is...
But like 2 of the next 3 games are Giants and Jags. If they win those 2 games, even if they lose to Baltimore, they're 2-3. Okay, at 2-3 and presumably about to get somebody, back of consequence, whether it's Worthy, Rice, or both, right? I mean, that's not crisis talk. We know that Kansas City is prepared to an extent, bumble their way through the regular season, knowing that they can step it up a bit, and they're going to step it up when they get 2 of their more important players back. Like, we're not in crisis mode yet, is what I'm saying. We're certainly not in a mode where we write off the potential that they can win a Super Bowl again.
My response to most of the Shouty shows is generally, have we learned nothing?
Yeah, and the answer is no. We haven't.
Ever in our lives? Let's just go back through. And then secondly, what is the purpose of being the first one?
Antagonism.
To declare that
this is the thing.
dynasty's dead.
It's not about learning. They know better than this. This is why the Shouty shows frustrate, is because it's an act. They know that this is ridiculous. They know it's stupid to declare things absolutely after 1 or 2 weeks. But if there's no downside to them, because either they're right and they get to crow about it later on and say, I was first, I told you, or they were wrong and they get to have the exact opposite stupid take 3 weeks later, and it's more gold.
Then you become Chiefs fodder a few weeks later. You become part of the montage. There's still montages of people saying Tom Brady's fallen off a cliff, Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that, and then 3 Super Bowls after that. You're a part of a montage for history. You are a historic old takes exposed. That's what I'm saying about not learning anything. The number of times that people declared the Patriots dynasty dead.
Yeah,
including in 2014
and it
when they
was
started.
Dead for a period of time. Like they had a pretty lean stretch in the middle of 2 Effectively,
lean.
it was two dynasties that had a very good team in the middle.
But it was lean in actual Super Bowl
Yes.
wins. But they were
But
one
that's
of the
how
best.
they judge these things.
But they were one of the best teams in the league
But
every single year. They were
but
never.
The Bills aren't a dynasty.
They were never out of it.
No, but the Bills right now aren't a dynasty. Like they had
Fair.
The Patriots effectively had two dynasties, and sandwiched in the middle was the Buffalo Bills from the last few years.
So everyone did this to the Patriots. Everyone did this to Nick Saban in Alabama because the standard for them was to go undefeated. So they'd lose a game almost every year. It's like, this is it. This is it for Saban.
Look how much worse it can get.
The other one that always stood out to me, and when I was a pitching coach, I used to use this example to encourage my pitchers if they had a bad game or whatever. There was an article on Mariano Rivera, the greatest closer of all time, who every season would have one or two bad games in April, like early in the season. And there was always some kind of article declaring Mariano's lost it. And I forget who it was, but someone pulled together an article. It was like 12 years of declaring Mariano's done. Every year. Yeah. It was like 05, 06, 07, whatever the years were. I don't know. 98 through, I forget how long he played, when it was. So they did this every year on Mariano Rivera. He never dropped off until he retired. Why do we have to do this?
If you want to be rational about it, like that's the Tom Brady thing at least made sense because there was a period of time, like Tom Brady played almost 10 years longer than you're supposed to play as a quarterback, right? So that means for almost a decade, it made sense for people to be looking for the beginning of the end, right? Mahomes is not in that. Like Mahomes is in his peak, theoretically. He's not at the point where you're like, any bad moment, you're like, it's time, it's over. So we're doing this like institutionally. We're looking at the team now and being like, it's done. There's no way. And
for you to say that the dynasty's over, because like just put yourself into the future for a minute. Let's say the Chiefs win 10 games this year, just 10. Off year for them. They go 10-7.
Let's say they make in any capacity make the playoffs. You're saying Mahomes cannot go on a run with whatever team is around him at that point.
Let's say they go 10-7 and have an unprecedented. They lose in the first round. Right? Never done that before. Next year, they only win 11 games, lose in the second round.
Right. They can't rebuild in the space of 3 years.
You're telling me within the next 3 years, they can't add a couple more players?
So there's multiple things. Yeah, scenario.
And go on a Super Bowl run with a 33-year-old Mahomes?
Right.
You're telling me the next 5 years, there's no Super Bowls in the Chiefs' future here because they just lost 2 games?
Your scenario is absurd, generally, right? Like, not you saying it, but the idea that people believe that. Like, even if the Chiefs are average at best over the next couple of years, the idea that the Kansas City Chiefs with Mahomes and Andy Reid there already could not rebuild from that point and get back to being an elite team. Like we've seen other teams go from awful to elite in a couple of years. The idea that the Chiefs can't go from like pretty good to elite with one of the best quarterbacks of all time is nuts. And then, the other part, though, that's ridiculous is imagine the idea that they are average this year, but they sneak into the playoffs with a 10-win wildcard team, is they're the 7 seed, right? You are telling me right now that it is completely inconceivable that with an average football team around him, Patrick Mahomes could not catch fire and have the greatest run of his career for 3 or 4 games and beat all those teams and go to a Super Bowl again. You're telling me that's completely impossible right now. With everything we know about Mahomes and everything we've seen from his playoff career, you're telling me there is no possible scenario where he could take a reasonably good football team, like go on the Kirk Cousins run that never happened, right?
That doesn't make sense to anyone. But the 2023 team kind of did that, right? We were writing off the Chiefs. The receivers were awful. They became a defensive-minded team. They had the number 3 seed. They went on the road to Buffalo and Baltimore, and they still won it. A couple of the Patriots Super Bowls, 2014, everybody wrote them off, right? In the 2014 season, after the Monday night debacle against Kansas City. Well, they won the Super Bowl that year. 2018, the Patriots looked awful at the end of the year. They went on that run, won in Kansas City in the AFC Championship to go win the Super Bowl. And then in 2020, Brady threw a pick 6 in the first game. Everybody's like, he's old, he's done. He's done. They had some bad games. They started like 7-5, and they went and won the Super Bowl. Have we learned nothing ever in life?
I mean, again, it's not.
Come on, Colin.
It's deliberately ridiculous.
All right. What's next? Hey, guys, real quick. Only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action.
I remember vividly in the first game of Jawan Taylor's career as a Chief. Thursday Night Football, standalone national TV, Chris Collinsworth was like, this guy jumps too often. And the whole world saw it and the whole league saw it. Well, thanks to the great Tom Brady and the great Dean Blandino, who I got to see briefly in Kansas City, they shined a spotlight on what all of us have known for 4 years. Not only is the tush push an ugly play, they jump on it every damn time. When they don't jump on it, it's not quite as effective. And when they do jump on it, it's unstoppable. And yesterday's game will be known as the day the tush push died.
Wow. I wonder if they'll make a song about it.
They'll definitely have a song about it.
I think that might be true, actually. I think there's a pretty good chance that game will be the start of the beginning of the end, and the tush push gets banned this offseason.
There's more talk about, you talked about, like, officiating it correctly.
Yes. So, look,
what's happening with it?
The whole conversation again. Like, they tried to ban it last offseason. They didn't succeed. They didn't have the votes, so here it is again. Now I think what you're seeing is, look, whatever about whether the play should stand or not, the Eagles are definitely pushing the boundaries of the laws in a couple of different ways, in addition to the play itself being kind of, I use the term unstoppable. Obviously, it has been stopped, but if you have a yard to get, certainly if you've got more than one down to do it, you're probably not stopping that play. But they are jumping. They are false starting regularly. Like, it's close, and obviously in super slow-mo, it looks obvious. Live speed, it looks a little bit less obvious, but it's not that. It's catchable, right? And they're lining up offsides. Like, they're cheating how far forward into the neutral zone you're allowed to be. So if you called it correctly, a lot of this would be a very different story. If you just crack down, did the point of emphasis thing, right? We're going to really focus on this, like the Jawan Taylor thing that he brought up. Like, we're going to point of emphasis. People have been doing that for years. It's just we decided to crack down on Jawan Taylor because we decided, you know what? This guy is taking the piss. Everyone else, you're kind of pushing it, but he's really going too far. So you're the guy we're making an example of. You could, point of emphasis, crack down on this. But then we get back to the general conversation about the tush push, which is, should you ban the play, yes or no? I don't really care. I just want you to have a logical argument if you're deciding to ban it, right? If you want it banned, fine. There is one argument to ban it, and one argument only. And if you use anything else,
my argument.
If you use anything else, I'm immediately dismissing your opinion as invalid, right? If you're talking about player safety or speed of the game, all this sort of stuff, bullshit. Your opinion is irrelevant. It's stupid. That's why it didn't pass when you tried to bring it up that way. The argument is yours, which is you can push offensive players. You can't push defensive players. It's an imbalance rule. It's silly. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And generally, I don't want to see offensive players pushed. It's like not part of the sport. Like, you shouldn't be able to drag your teammate forward.
That's a perfectly reasonable take. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with it, but that's the only take. That's the only acceptable opinion.
But that's what they should bring to the committee. We don't need to see people pushed.
There's
it's
no
not
evidence.
Health and safety.
Yeah,
it's not.
There's no evidence that it's a health and safety problem. There's no evidence that it's a delay of the game problem. There's none of that. It doesn't. So when the Packers, whoever, puts this out as this is why we need a ban, you can't convince people because that's not a sensible argument. It doesn't hold scrutiny when you actually look at information and data. The other problem is, by the way, I think a lot of people, it's like, I just don't like the play. It's ugly. It's only going to be replaced by a regular quarterback sneak, right? The Eagles are not going to become, you ban the tush push. The Eagles are not tomorrow going to line up in empty formation and run a jet sweep on 4th and 1. They're going to run a regular quarterback sneak, and Jalen Hurts can still bench 600 pounds, and they still have the best offensive line in the NFL. Their regular quarterback sneak is going to be 80% effective. So you're not removing an ugly play from, the football lexicon. You might be slightly reducing the amount they run an ugly play, but you're not, this isn't disappearing.
I don't think they've been false starting this entire time, and we've just caught onto it.
It has been going for a while.
It's more about the alignment.
Yeah, the alignment stuff, but they have been going a bit early.
They're lined up almost even with the center.
Yeah, but again, it's like the Jawan Taylor thing. It's incremental, right? Like you let him get away with the bang bang plays, right? And suddenly they start pushing it a bit and a bit and a bit. And now they're kind of really going for it.
the thing I would say, I think every team, I say this a lot, every team should have a full and effective QB sneak package.
Right.
Effective QB sneak package. Brady was great at it because there wasn't just, he knew how to do it, but he also read the defense. He could go either A gap. If both A gaps are taken, you can go B gap sneak. Allen does that sometimes. And then what New England always did is if they went like full bare front, meaning both guards and centers are covered, and the center is covered, you can go with a little wide zone play. So you run to the bubble where the hole is over the tackle. And so you had adjustments to that. The other thing you can do way back, this is a throwback, early Brady days actually. The formation you never see in today's NFL is an empty set but under center. Empty, under center, right? So there's nobody in the backfield, and you go under center. Brady used to sneak it for like 5 yards all the time. You could sneak one of those in where you're in empty, you come up, you go under center, and you just move, you just push forward. I feel like every team, and some teams do this pretty effectively, right? And then you have like a little fake sneak toss play. Whatever. You should have an entire QB sneak package for your fourth and short, and a good quarterback should be able to execute this. I think it's my baseball analogy here. I always thought it was inexcusable for a lefty pitcher to have a bad pickoff move. Okay? Just know it.
I just think
it's time and effort. I think it's inexcusable for quarterbacks to not be good at QB sneaks.
Sure. But I think
they should work at it
and
get good at it, and then you won't have this problem.
But
one more thing. The short yardage stuff was the key in this game. The fact that the Chiefs have not run a QB sneak since 2019 when Mahomes got hurt. They're pretty good in short yardage, and they've got a good short yardage package, but it affects them. Like if there's a couple times a year, if Mahomes could just fall forward, a couple times a year, Big Ben never ran a sneak. If he could have just fallen forward, it's an easy pickup if you just put the time and effort in.
But this idea of, like, look at the number of times the Eagles run this where the push actually makes the difference between getting the yardage or not. Most of the time it doesn't. Most of the time the yardage is done, and then the push, just adds a bit of gravy on top.
It's the surge.
Yeah, and all of those things are going to remain true if you ban the push part and the Eagles just line up for a regular quarterback sneak the way teams used to, right? You are still going to be dealing with one of the strongest, most powerful quarterbacks in the game and the best offensive line in the game. Those two things together mean the Eagles are going to be one of the best quarterback sneak teams, regardless of whether or not Saquon Barkley is allowed push him from behind, right? So, again, if you want it banned, that's fine. But the logic for banning it is your logic, which is it's an imbalanced rule right now. You can push on offense, you cannot push on defense. That's unfair. If your reason for banning it is it's ugly, that's a stupid reason for banning it first and foremost. Secondly, you're not fixing that because they're just going to run a regular quarterback sneak, which is also ugly. Like, it's not a pretty play, the quarterback sneak. It's just, it might be, whatever. You're not fixing that, right? So that's my problem with this whole narrative. Nick might be right, and I think he might. I think that could be a thing, that they've highlighted this. It's now getting so messy from an officiating point of view, and the NFL's approach to that kind of thing is often, you know what, I just don't want this problem, right? I'm not going to fix it. I'm just going to get rid of it. So ban the play, therefore we don't have to worry about offsides and neutral zones and blah, blah, blah.
I would be interested to see if they do make some adjustments to alignment or whatever it might be. So, possible truth here from Nick Wright. Let's go one more. We got an old man one to finish things off here.
Has Micah Parsons turned the Packers into NFL's best team?
Yes, he has.
Nothing yet.
I give up, and I give it up to Micah Aaron Parsons, who is suddenly...
Is it over?
I don't know.
To NFL's best team.
Yes, he has. I give up, and I give it up to Micah Aaron Parsons, who has suddenly turned back into the baddest pass rusher on this planet.
Turned back into.
He has ignited that team and that town and that Packer nation to invincible early season heights, but invincible. Never seen anything quite like it before. He needed this. Maybe we in Dallas needed this because I'm tired. I got sick and tired over the last 3 years of having to file a missing Parsons report after those games because he was a missing person during so many big games over the last 3 years since his rookie year when he played like this as a rookie. He wrecked games as a rookie. The last 2 games that we've seen him play on big stages for the Green Bay Packers are an indictment of what he didn't do over the last 3 years in Dallas, Texas.
Okay, so first of all, very good pun. Ruined it slightly by having to explain it to people. That it's like when you have to explain your own joke, it's not as funny. Missing Parsons report was good. Having to then explain, it's because, his name is Micah Parsons, you see, and that sounds a little bit like Parsons. That's not so good. This is great because it's like it's basically claiming victory where defeat existed, It's like, well, you might think that Micah Parsons being dominant right now makes me look like an ass because a minute ago I was saying he's no kind of pass rusher at all and that Dallas is better off without him. But actually, this just shows how right I was because if he'd been playing like this in Dallas, they never would have traded him away and we'd have been good.
There would be no missing Parsons.
Right. There would be no missing Parsons, and instead we would be an elite football team. So this just reinforces how right I was.
It's really genius. Does he have his fastball back?
No.
Is he back?
No. Again, the old Skip Bayless would have just dropped missing Parsons report and moved on.
That's true. He's losing it.
Yeah. Now he's got to be.
See athletes lose a step, which makes sense. It's a physical game, but why would Skip lose a step?
Because the brain goes as well,
Oh, I see.
You don't think it does, but the brain. I mean, you and I, right?
I'm feeling it.
The recall, right? You hit your 40s and you send a request down to the files in the brain. And whereas it used to come back with the right thing, got it, sir. Here's your file.
I have a few missing files reports.
Well, either you have a missing file. The guy comes back on the phone. Is like, there's nothing here. I don't know what to tell you. I open up the filing cabinet. It's just nothing. It's just an empty drawer. Or it's like, is this what you're looking for? No. Well, sorry. Best we could do. Imagine. Skip's like 100 years old. What must his filing cabinet look like?
Were those his previous points on Micah Parsons? Like, we don't need him? Good riddance?
Oh, yeah. I think he was on the Shouty Show thing recently where he was like, man hasn't had a
missing file. That's what
I forget what his logic was, but it was like maybe
he didn't show up in the Packers playoff game.
Because he's actually had sacks, right? Didn't he have like double-digit sacks each year? But anyway, it was like there was one year where statistically it wasn't as good as his rookie year. So Skip was like, man's been missing for like 3 years. The
guy's been incredible this entire time.
Oh, yeah. Like he has a PFF pass rushing grade of 90 every single year of his career, whatever the overall sack number is.
I don't think anyone's ever had that right from rookie season.
Yeah. Not a pass rushing one, no. Donald, I think, hit 90 overall, but it was run as well as pass.
Donald had like a quiet, very, very good
rookie
season and then was the best for the next 8 or whatever.
Right.
But Parsons was elite right off the bat.
Yeah.
As he was a hybrid linebacker. Like, he just stepped in as
and
well.
That probably helped, to be fair.
May have. But they were using him on the edge early on as well.
Yeah, but I'm saying reducing your sample size as a rookie is probably beneficial to attaining a 90-plus PFF pass rushing grade.
Man, if the Packers lose, what happens? Told you so? Let's predict this ebb and flow.
Yeah. They're going to have one game where somebody runs for like 250 on them.
I told you
Michael wasn't on the field at the time, right? He would have been, they're still using him in this like very heavy pass rushing only.
Could have used Kenny Clark.
Right. They're going to run for 250. Micah's not even going to be on the field at the time, and it's still going to be his fault.
Skip. Can't wait to watch how this unfolds for the rest of the season here.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Micahs live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
And the all-knowing algorithm is convinced you'll also like these videos, and who are we to argue?